Happy Monday, everyone. This is Martha with Nature Niche, coming to you from the Nature Niche Prairie in the back. And July is the month of Monarda. That's when the species in the genus Monarda often start blooming for us. And this week I want to talk to you about horsemint, also known as spotted bee balm or dotted mint, Monarda punctata. It is the driest of our 4 species native to Michigan, and it, in my opinion, doesn't get enough love. It's much less well known than Monarda fistulosa bee balm. And so I have it here. It is in full bloom in its glory in my dry sand prairie here in the back of the store. If you want to see what the prairie looked like initially, you can go back to Mondays with Martha number 45, where I talk about the frost seeding. Habitat for horsemint includes sand dunes, sand prairies and fields, oak and pine savannas, and other disturbed places like along railroads, roadsides. It is native to western Michigan, north up to the dunes of Leelanau County, and it's possibly adventive or introduced across the rest of the state, and there are a few occurrences in the Upper Peninsula. It is native to the eastern half of the United States and Canada, and also found in Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and California. As far as culture goes, this plant likes full sun, dry sandy soils. It's a great plant for your droughty places that just get beating sun and are hot and dry. And it doesn't tolerate competition from taller vegetation, and so it just tends to get outcompeted in moister microhabitats. It gets 1 to 3 feet tall and has a taproot, and the flowers are pretty complex and striking and bloom from July through September. It is a perennial plant. It will be short-lived in those moist settings where I talked about them getting out-competed. And it readily reseeds itself if you don't surround it with too much mulch. You can collect the seed in September and October and sow in late fall. Or you can propagate it from cuttings of the young foliage. All the species of Monarda are susceptible to powdery mildew. I haven't seen this be a particular problem with this species, but there's no need to treat. You can just, water from the base of the plant. This one grows in droughty, dry sites, and it tends not to be much of an issue in my experience. As far as identification goes, this Monarda is easily recognized by its multiple whorls of flowers. And you can see that even on dead stems, you'll have the buttons left over in multiple places. So this is the only Monarda species that does that, where you have multiple whorls of flowers, multiple tiers on one stem. And this species is a member of the mint family, so it has that very characteristic four-edged or square in cross-section angular stem. And it's hairy, and they tend to be green to brown purple in color, but very densely pubescent or hairy. The leaves are opposite on the stem, and they are 3.5 inches long to about 1 inch or 1/2 inch wide. And overall, the plant has kind of this medium gray-green color from all of the pubescence on the leaves and stems. And the leaves are lanceolate in shape. Lower on the plant, they tend to have toothed margin, very finely toothed. As you go up the plant, the upper leaves and the bracts are often entire, meaning they are smooth or don't have teeth. So variable depending on how high on the plant you are looking. And the foliage is very aromatic. So I love, this would qualify as a scratch and sniff plant if you crush the foliage. take a whiff. There's a really nice fine Greek oregano scent to this plant. So gotta love the scratch and sniff plants. The flowers occur in whorls, and let's take a closer look at that. They are up along the top of the plant, but they can also come out of the leaf axils, and they are tubular and creamy white to yellow with darker purple spots. And they have a narrow upper and then a lower lip to them. So these are the actual flowers. And then the flowers are subtended by these very showy leafy bracts, which can be pink to lavender to a creamy white in color. And those bracts can be quite large as the leaves. The tubular flowers are 3/4 to 1 inch long, and flowers tend to be produced for 1 to 2 months, so it's a nice long flowering species. And the bracts keep their color and remain showy on the plant even after the flowers have withered and fruit production has started. So it really keeps that showy appearance of the plant, and it makes it attractive for a long time. And then the fruit, each flower forms 4 small nutlets. And you can see we have a very happy bumblebee checking out the flowers here. Speaking of faunal associates, this species has special value to our native bees, butterflies, hummingbirds, and many of our other pollinators. It provides both pollen and nectar resources, and it supports conservation biological control by attracting predatory and parasitoid insects that prey upon pest insects. So it decreases or eliminates the need for using chemical insecticides in your landscapes. This species attracts leafcutter, sweat, green sweat, small resin, bumble, miner, and plaster bees, as well as the non-native honeybee. And it is also attracts wasps, ants, flies, skippers, and beetles and true bugs. And it's visited by numerous species of butterflies as well, including the federally endangered and state-threatened Carner blue butterfly, our declining monarch butterflies, as well as the very charismatic swallowtail butterflies. It's also a host plant for several species of moths. The oregano-scented foliage is rarely browsed by mammalian herbivores, so it's a good thing to grow in places where you have pretty high browse pressure from rabbits and deer. As far as human uses go, it is the highest of all the mints in a chemical known as thymol, which is antimicrobial, antifungal, and antiseptic in properties. And it was used historically to treat ringworm and hookworm infestations, fever, inflammation, and chills. Its fresh leaves and flowers were brewed into a mild tea to promote relaxation, and leaves crushed and steeped in cold water, and then consumed to ease backache. It was also used as a poultice for arthritis. And the Native Americans were reported to make a sweating tea from it to treat colds. And you can also hang and dry bundles of the foliage and flowers to make a nice dry potpourri to scent your home. So if you're one of my local customers, just wanted to remind you, if you want to learn more about preserving and drying wildflowers, we have 2 spots left in our workshop this Thursday, 7 to 8 p.m. So you can register online or in store. But I hope you enjoy my dry sand prairie full of horsemint, and hope you get out, find some yourself. Have a good week.